While the mainland India still reels under the dark slumber of sleep, the first rays of the oriental sun falls on the homeland of the Nishis, Nyishi Day, Arunachal Pradesh, formerly known as Northeast Frontier Agency, NEFA, which became the 25th state of the Indian Union on 20th February 1987. Blessed with blue mountains, lush green forests, crystal flowing rivers, scenic valleys, and rich wildlife, the homeland of the Nishi is a storehouse of untapped natural resource. The Nishis are the single largest tribe of Arunachal Pradesh. They inhabit the 5 districts of the state, namely Kurung Kumai, East Kameng, Lower Subansiri, Upper Subansiri, Papumpare. The historic town of Itanagar, the state capital of Arunachal Pradesh, lies in the heartland of the Nishis. The Nishis are known for their ingrained virtues and qualities of straightforwardness, generosity, courage, valor, and loyalty. The Nishis are the descendants of the great forefather Atu Nia, Dopum, Dodum, Dolu, and Anyahari. And since time immemorial, the tribe has always identified themselves as Nyishi. According to folklores and legends, the Nishis are believed to have migrated to the present homeland from the region around the valley of Supum or the river Sangpo and the hills and valleys in and around it through different phases and waves of migration. Dogging.
पीआर केंडिया साहब ने जो यूनियन ट्राइबल अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर, उनको हम लोग ने भी बार बार उनको रिक्वेस्ट किया मदद करने के लिए, और उन्हें भी वादा किया, और उन्होंने उनका जो सेक्रेटरी ट्राइबल अफेयर्स के वी मुखर्जी साहब को वहाँ से भेजा, और वो यहाँ अरुणाचल में आया और ऑफिस में सारा रिकॉर्ड को देखा, गांव में गया, घर घर में गांव वाला से मिला, गांव वाला लोगों से मिला, पूछताछ किया। उस हिसाब से केवी मुखर्जी जो ट्राइबल अफेयर्स सेक्रेटरी ने सही तरीक़ा से पब्लिक का जो विचार है उसको रखा, और उनका रिकमेंडेशंस ले करके भारत सरकार ने विचार किया कि ये नाम सही से गलत है, उसको जैसा होने से भी बदलना है और इसको अमेंडमेंट करना ज़रूरी है।
The Nyishi dwell in simple and eco-friendly houses constructed from locally abundant materials from the forest. The Nyishi society has been patriarchal with a strong family and clan bond based on lineage and kinship ties. Unlike the mainland Indian society, women have a great degree of social mobility, and evil practices like female infanticide is unknown to Nyishi society. The Nyishi society provides vast scopes for individual enterprise, freedom, and liberty until there is an undue interference and encroachment on others' interests. The traditional social institution of Gingdum, intermediary, and Nyele, council with judicial powers, continues to play a pivotal role in the civil and criminal justice system and delivers effective and speedy natural justice to each and every member of the Nyishi community. With the increasing pace of education, development, and awareness, the age-old evil practices of polygamy, child marriage, and sotum are fast vanishing from the Nyishi society. There is no place for chieftaincy or aristocracy in the traditional Nyishi society. Thus, the political life of the Nyishi is deeply rooted in the spirit of democracy and egalitarianism, which has a pride of place in tribal Arunachal Pradesh. The religious life of the Nyishi community is deeply entrenched in the faith, belief and worship of nature or primitive animism. The methods of worship gradually evolved out of the struggle with nature. According to the Nyishi faith, the Doni Polo, the sun and the moon, is regarded as a supreme deity, and all forms of worship revolves around it for the well-being of the family, clan and community. Ancestor worship also forms a part of the socio-religious belief system of the Nyishis. The Nyibus, traditional priests with a vast storehouse of knowledge on the oral history, genealogy, migration, folk tales, legends and spiritual powers, occupies a prominent place in the Nyishi society. The Nyibus are the guardian and carrier of belief, faith and history of the Nyishi tribe. Through mystical chants and rituals, the Nyibus have spiritual powers of healing which is beyond the realms of science and logic.
बहुत सी किताबें में लिखा हुआ है कि दफला कहाँ से आए उनको मालूम नहीं है, लेकिन ये लोग अपने आप को निशी कहते हैं। पूरा किताब के रिकॉर्ड के साथ, सबूत के साथ ये चीज़ हम जब आरजीआई में फेस किया भाई अरुणाचल सरकार की ओर से, तब ना आरजीआई जाके माना यस यू कैन कीप नाउ। इन्होंने लिखा गवर्नमेंट हमारा ये ट्राइबल अफेयर्स मंत्रालय को, यू कैन कीप निशी, वी हैव नो ऑब्जेक्शन। ये केवल ये राजनीति पॉलिटिकल प्रेशर से होने वाला चीज़ नहीं है, ये टेक्निकल चीज़ है। जो हमने पार्लियामेंट में 2-4 बार सवाल उठाया, स्पेशल मेंशन किया हम, क्योंकि मैं जिस समाज से बिलोंग करता हूँ इसीलिए मैं उसको पेपर में नहीं देता, पब्लिसिटी नहीं करता हूँ। इसीलिए आप ऐतिहासिक है कि कोई एक संविधान जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अमेंडमेंट बिल 1 घंटा भी नहीं लगा पास करने में।
The identity of the Nyishi is deeply linked to the land. The community and clan ownership of land, rivers, mountains and forests continues to prevail till present times. The economic life of the Nyishi is primarily dependent on agriculture. They practice june cultivation on the vast hill slopes. Wet rice cultivation is also practiced on the fertile river valleys. Economic transactions were primarily based on barter system. The community exchange of labor, regi, for cultivation and construction of houses continues to dominate rural life even in present times. The Mithun, Bos frontalis, is the pride of the Nyishi and the basis of all economic transactions. The Mithun is also used in marriages, rituals and other social occasions. Rural households practice poultry, piggery and goatery as the main livestock. Thus, for generations, the Nyishis have been living a life of perfect self-reliance and self-contained economic life.
आज 19th April 2008 निशी के लिए एक बहुत शुभ दिन है। आज दफला हट गया, निशी आ गया कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनली। वैसे तो निशी पहले से भी था, अब भी है और रखेगा, लेकिन हमें जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में निशी को रिकॉग्नाइज नहीं किया गया था, दफला उस पर कहा गया था और उसमें डेरोगेटरी वो सब हमारा साथ जुड़े हुए थे। तो इस दिन हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ा दिन है। इस दिन को हमारा इतिहास में, निशी का इतिहास में सुनहरे अक्षर में लिखा जाएगा। हमारा मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट्स हैं, खास करके किरण रिजिजू, तापिर गाँव और हमारा अपना भाई नाबुम रिवा जी ने भी बहुत योगदान दिया है। और मैं मानता हूँ हमारे एलिट सोसाइटी और अंशु इसके लिए बहुत जोरदार किया है। उन लोग का जोरदार, उन लोग को स्पीयर हेडिंग मूवमेंट में होने से आज हम लोग ये दिन देखना नहीं पड़ता भी होता और इतना जल्दी से भी आता नहीं था। तो हम सभी को हो सकता है ये आज का भी है और लोग पास्ट का भी जो पोस्ट होल्ड करे, सभी को मैं उसके लिए मैं कांग्रेचुलेशन देता हूँ।
The Nyishis have been living a life of independence and nurtured freedom. Nestled in the hills and valleys, the Nyishis have never been subjugated to any internal or external dominance or control from any neighboring tribe or race. In the historical past, the Nyishi is being exposed in guerrilla warfare, conducted frequent raids on the Ahom kingdom and came back victorious. Subsequently, the Ahom kingdom entered into a series of treaty with the undefeatable Nishis and agreed to pay Posa, an annual tax collected by the Nishis from the Ahoms. This payment of Posa continued to be paid to the Nishis till the time India attained independence. It was the Ahoms who first called the Nishis as Dafla. The Nishis considered the term Dafla as devoid of identity, derogatory and humiliating to the prestige and self-esteem of the Nishis. With the decline of the Ahom kingdom, the wheels of history turned further and the British officials came into contact with the Nishis and tried to bring them under their imperial control. However, the Nishis put up valiant and persistent resistance against the Britishers. The Nishis continued to collect Posa and remain independent till the time of Indian independence. In the early decades, the British pursued a policy of relative isolation and non-interference in the affairs of Northeast Frontier Agency, NEFA. The Inner Line Regulation of 1873 and the NEFA Frontier Administration of Justice Act 1945 are bold embodiments of British tribal policy and a heritage of the Ahom days. With the murder of Noel Williamson and Gregerson in 1911, the Britishers subsequently the policy of direct intervention into tribal affairs, and NEFA came under the administrative control and supervision of the Ministry of External Affairs under the aegis of the Lieutenant Governor of Assam. Gradually, the Nishis began the first touch with modern-day administration. However, the fruits of development and modern education were deliberately kept out of the reach of the Nishis by the Britishers for a very long time. Till the very end, the Nishis offered stiff resistance to the extension of British rule in NEFA and until the time they left for the shores of England. After the independence of India, the Nishis, without much resistance, allowed the Indian government to take up developmental tasks which had paved the way for the present political, social and economic life of the Nishis.
Second Conference of All Nishi Youth Association held at Yazali in 1978 and culminated in the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2008, which has replaced the Dafla word by Nishi. In the process, Ansu and elite society, they spearheaded the movement and vigorously it was taken up since 1997 and ultimately it has resulted in a positive way.
Until the Chinese aggression of 1962, the government of India did not take up any adequate developmental activities as per the aspirations of the people in the Nyishi land in particular and Arunachal as a whole.
I also, on behalf of All Nishi Students Union and on behalf of entire community, would like to extend my profound gratitude to the union government and the state government and their leaders. I request every Nishis to join me saying, I am proud to be Nishi. Mo Nishiya, Molu Malanga Nishiya.
Most importantly, a persistent struggle for the change and restoration of the original nomenclature as Nyishi from Dafla was fought at the state and national level by various Nyishi social and political forums for decades altogether. The movement for the change of nomenclature took organized shape after the adoption of the resolution to that effect in the Second General Conference of All Nishi Youth Association, ANYA, at Yajali on 30th May 1978. Ever since then, the premier Nyishi organizations headed by Nyishi Elite Society, NES and All Nyishi Students Union, ANSU, has persistently spearheaded the movement for the change of nomenclature, which has finally culminated in the historic passing of the Constitutional Amendment Bill of the Scheduled Tribes Order 1950 by the Union Parliament, Government of India on 19th March 2008, which was subsequently assented by the President of India on 2nd April 2008.
निशी शब्द ये वर्षों से एक पहचान है, लेकिन अंग्रेजों ने इस निशी शब्द को तोड़ मरोड़ करके दाफला शब्द डाल दिया है। दफला बहुत ही घटिया किस्म का एक शब्द है, ये एक डेरोगेटरी वर्ड है, लेकिन वो शब्द आज से हम भूल जाना चाहते हैं। और ये ऐतिहासिक मौका पर आज मैं इस बात को कह रहा हूं कि एक नया जीवन, एक नया अध्याय एक जनजाति को प्रति मिला है। जो निशी का हिस्ट्री है, ये अंग्रेजों के खिलाफ भी निशियों ने लड़ाई किया था और इसका रिकॉग्निशन जितना मिलना चाहिए मिला नहीं है। आज खुशी में इसलिए हूं कि निशी समाज का मैं प्रतिनिधि सिर्फ यहाँ नहीं हूं, निशी समाज का मैं दामाद भी हूं सर।
ऑनरेबल डिप्टी स्पीकर सर, मैं इस बिल को समर्थन करने के लिए खड़ा हुआ हूँ। इंडिया साहब और प्रियदास मुंशी और हंडिक साहब और आपको भी मैं मेरा निशी भाई बहनों अरुणाचल में जो जंगलों में हैं, इन लोगों के बिहाफ से भी मैं धन्यवाद देता हूँ।
At last, after decades of persistent struggle, the Nyishis have achieved the long-felt aspiration and restored to their pristine identity, glory and status. The Nyishis of today are making their mark and carving their place in all walks of life and shall remain a force to be reckoned with. The triumphant sounds of a successful battle for rights, justice, dignity and prestige echoes through the length and breadth of the state. Ngo Nyishi Yapange, Ngo Nyishi Nyijire, Ngo Nyishi Dentupe, Ngo Nyishi Nge.
समाज के कुछ जाने माने लोग
This is the occasion to remember them.
हाँ देख सकते हैं उन महान लोगों को जिन्होंने निशी समाज की
India साहब
I, on behalf of Indo-Nishi community, welcome you all to this historic occasion, which is being celebrated to mark the nomenclature change from Dafla to Nishi, pertaining to the landmark Constitutional Scheduled Tribes Amendment Act 2008.
मिसेस गुमरी रेंगू उन्हें उपहार भेंट करेंगे। इसके बाद है श्री किरण रिजिजू, ऑनरेबल कार्तिक राव, ऑनरेबल एमपी।
At the very outset, I wish to extend my warm welcome to all of you to share the joys with us in the Nyishi Day Celebration to mark the Constitution Scheduled Tribe Order Amendment Act 2008 to delete the alien and derogatory term Dafla and replace in its place the original term Nyishi in the Constitution of India.
The phenomenal contributions made by the President and Chief Minister to the noble cause on this historic occasion. In fact, heralds a new era in the history of Nyishi community, which Nyishi community will always remember. पिछले 50 साल से ये जो मांग था वो नहीं हुआ, इस बार जो हुआ है इसके लिए मैं जो हमारा निशी समाज, माता पिता है, भाई बहन, आप सबको मैं शुभकामनाएं और बहुत बहुत बधाई देना चाहता हूँ। ये दफला से निशी जो नॉमिनेशन चेंज हुआ है इसके लिए मैं पूरे प्रदेश की ओर से और पूरे निशी समाज की ओर से हमारे मैडम सोनिया जी को और भारत के प्रधानमंत्री प्राइम मिनिस्टर जी को उनको मैं बहुत बहुत बधाई और धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ।
The government of India has always responded positively to the feelings and aspirations of the people of Arunachal Pradesh. Only recently, the Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh, came to your people's state. And consequently, Shri A.K. Antony ji, the Defence Minister, came to visit a certain part of Arunachal Pradesh. Once again, on this great day, Jai Nyishi and Jai Arunachal.
The man has been captured.
Buluk so culture muluk aso meji ni laga oge aso akatrab laga acar gomili dunna o bangru si bigame mulso tayana me nasang si lingcho lingma da bul bangru lingcho ka.
I, on behalf of the Nyishi Day Celebration Committee and the entire Nyishi community, would like to extend profound thanks to Sri P.R. India, Honorable Union Minister for Travel Affairs, for gracing this historic Nyishi Day celebration. Sir, your daily presence in the midst of all of us on this memorable day is another blessing thanks to our community. You have taken a lot of painful initiatives to make this long cherished day of the Nyishi community come true. Our happiness knew no bound when you stood up in the parliament with a historic move for the constitutional replacement of Dafla to Nyishi. The entire Nyishi community and people of Arunachal will always remember you for this historic achievement. We are also immensely thankful to you and Government of India. We may please request you to convey this message of gratitude to your colleagues in Delhi. We may fail to do anything, but we will never fail to pray for your good health and long life. I also extend profound thanks to Sri Doji Kandu, Honorable Chief Minister, Government of Arunachal Pradesh, for having graced this historic Nyishi Day celebration as the guest of honor.